Sabrina Guzman asks, has zoomed out wider than any of us and asks, what does your shop mean to you? My shop means to me, on a temporally satisfying level, my shop means control. It is this one area in my life that I have total control over. And I enjoy having that control because control is at its root illusory. None of us has any control over anything. But right here, at this place, I enjoy the illusion of control. I enjoy the pleasant fiction that I can have some control over the things that I engage with. But control it's not like I'm looking for control in all aspects of my life. I'm simply looking for less entropy, let's say, perhaps. Because what this really means to me is freedom, right? I'll tell you, I walk into this shop this last couple of weeks that it's completely torn to pieces and in a liminal state. I walk into it and I think, I freaking hate this place. And then I think, I'm so lucky to have this place. Both of those thoughts occur simultaneously. I don't really think I hate this place. I just think, oh, Christ, what is between me and this space becoming satisfying again? Lots is between me and this space becoming satisfying again. But it is satisfying because when it is operating in an ideal state, which again is not all the time, it is a process. When it is operating in an ideal state, I walk in here and feel nothing but the freedom to explore and to go find my flow state and to unabashedly enjoy it. That's what the shop means to me. I grew up with an example of my dad was a painter and constructed his life so that he could make money and also paint as much of the time as humanly possible. And painting wasn't one of the money-generating activities. He didn't paint for a living. He didn't paint mostly. He didn't even show most of my childhood. He didn't put his paintings in shows. So I grew up with this example of someone working hard to provide for the family unassailably, and then when that work was done, working for themselves and doing this thing that they had to do. So I had this example growing up that like one of the adults in my life went out to a studio and painted and didn't talk about why, didn't talk about the subject matter. Sometimes said, I'm really happy with this one. Sometimes said, I'm not. But just did this thing. Sometimes when I say that story out loud, I am overwhelmed by what an amazing example it was to grow up with. That level of austere, that senseless activity and the austerity inherent in it because of what it gives the person doing it. I have met so many creators in my life, and many of you watching perhaps, who have come from much more adversarial homes where exploring one's creativity was not engendered, was not supported, was not given oxygen. And I will say that, like, to everyone who's ever told me a version of that story, you're a miracle, in my opinion. I am amazed. I do not know what kind of person I would have become if this amalgam of cells had grown up in a different environment that was not as supportive. Because support is really important to me. And when I don't feel like I'm getting it or I don't feel like I have enough of it, I suffer. So yeah, anyone who came from a difficult environment and found their inner maker, found their inner creator, found that they wanted to do something that their folks completely didn't understand and leaned into it, I think of each of you as a triumph. And I give you all of the props. Because as a parent to me, as a parent, it is apparent to me that it's our job to put in front of our kids that which they're interested in, and that their interest is the threshold. And that when you explore your interest at a deep level, you're going to learn really amazing things about yourself. This is why I think, like, I know I have met kids who can't talk about anything but Minecraft. And while they may be exhausting to spend time around, I also know that Minecraft is in and of itself, and their addiction to it are building pathways in their brain that will serve them forever. Yeah. That's what my shop means to me. The Viking Nomad says, do you organize your shop by materials, by discipline, or by function? Wow. I'm looking around, and it is by tool type, material type. So there are some tools that have a lot of their own support, like the mill and the lathe. They have lots of stuff that supports that tool around it. The drill press, not so much. It's just a drill press. The drill bits are close, but not like right on top of it. Belt sander, sanding discs are over there. Bandsaw. Yeah, I organize by tool. That's pretty clear. And then the hardware store aspect, the shopping aspect is all here. God, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm wondering if I shouldn't be moving all of my shopping. I really think of this place like a hardware store for my mind. And it is occurring to me now that when I go shopping in that hardware store, i.e. pulling out a Sortimo case and looking for something I need in it, maybe I should localize all the shopping into that space, and this space is just for tools. It's fascinating. I don't know where I'm going with this, but that certainly might. Where were we at? Viking Nomad was asking a question. It's a process, man. It is a total process. Yeah, I have never been fully satisfied with so many aspects of this shop. Usually it is the interface between the floor and the wall. That's where everything goes to hell. That's where everything falls to pieces. Because you end up with little boxes in the corners, and that's where it just gets super, super cloggy really fast. Warship Models Underway asks, have I tried any higher-end sanders like 3M, Mirka, or Festool? They're looking to upgrade their sanding game. No, I have not. I have one orbital sander here, and I've only just started to use it in the last few months. I don't know what my resistance to sanders has been. Because on the bench, on the floor standing sander side, I can't seem to get enough of them. I just added a 6x48 belt sander to my tool roster because I wanted a bigger straight edge angle sanding surface. Yeah, no, I have not tried those other sanders. I also, this is the thing, we also want to upgrade the lighting here. Joey and I want to tear everything out of the ceiling of this space, particularly, and put in a grid so that he can put up lights that will light the space appropriately, but also change the color timing of the lights if necessary, but definitely change the level of some of those lights if necessary. And that is part and parcel of me figuring out where other stuff should live. There's lots of interdependent, when you are organizing a shop, there are so many interdependent relationships between tools and materials and your workflow. Yeah, that it's overwhelming. It's completely overwhelming. I am currently overwhelmed by it. I simply have the institutional knowledge to know that I'll fix it one thing at a time. And you're gonna leave stuff that, I'm sorry, I'm just totally fascinated by the idea of all the shopping moving over there. It's kind of a lovely division of labor of the shop, that work happens in here, but the acquisition of materials, tools, and parts and bits and bobs and nuts and bolts all happens over there. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to support us even further, you can by becoming a tested member. Details are, of course, below, but it includes all sorts of perks, and we're building them all the time. You get advanced word and behind-the-scenes photos of some of our projects,
questions. You get to ask direct questions during my live streams, and we have some members-only videos, including the Adam real-time series of unbroken, unedited shots of me working here in the shop. They are weirdly meditative. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you on the next one.